curriculum and the modalities for the commencement of the ESET programs designed to train and empower 500 youth from each state of the Federation, starting with tribal states, under the Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project Local Contents Initiative. This is part of Mr. President's strategy vision to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Four courses, namely electrical house wiring, number 2, ICT essential, number 3, catering management, and number 4, mastering and bricklaying, and lastly, the plumbing, pipe fitting for plants and buildings.
The minister noted that interested youth should apply online through the NAPTIN web portal, which is open for 3 weeks starting January 2021 to enroll for their courses of choice.
The training shall be carried out in 4 batches of 125 participants each, while the selection into the 4 batches of training will be based strictly on merit and distributed amongst the local government area of the state. Applications process will be done online via NAPTIN web portal, which shall be open for 3 weeks for application. While
and the 4 components of the National Social Investment Programs, namely N-Power Scheme, Conditional Cash Transfer, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, and the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. As a new ministry, it needed to get its acts right to ensure transparency and accountability in handling the different programs. Expectedly, the ministry inherited the N-Power program, which was inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari, with the mandate of lifting young citizens out of poverty and create job opportunities through capacity building, investment and direct support. The program has so far enrolled 500,000 beneficiaries, 200,000 from Batch A, which started in 2016, and 300,000 from Batch B, which kicked off in August 2018.
With the money we are earning, of course, we are saving. And somebody like me, I'm a caterer. I read home economics, which, you know, in home economics, we have a lot of branches, which maybe, for example, me, I prefer the aspect of the catering.
Applied for the Empower program, but I was reluctant. When we went there in Fege local government, it was not based on maybe religion or ethnicity, but it was surely based on merit. Once you have your credential on ground, you are good to go.
Responding to the exigencies of this sensitive terrain, the ministry has continued to put all modalities in place to streamline the program for better efficiency and provide more opportunities for more Nigerian youths.
There are challenges in the area of the N-Power, but I want to assure them that the ministry is doing everything possible to see that all these issues are streamlined. Before now, all the accounts and the processes and the payments processes are being done in the Ministry of Budget and National Planning. Now we have to move all these documentations to the ministry. That is also another procedure that will require time to do. Then we have issues with even the payment platforms, where, we used to pay through the NIPS. Now it's a government policy that we have to pay through the GIFNIS platform. That is also another procedure that we have to go through. But I'm happy to tell you now that we've been able to do April payments as well as May.
The initial steps of the ministry have been sure and brisk. It has also galvanized other government agencies to lend support in the fight to reach out to the most vulnerable in the society.
it shows a demonstration of commitment to the statement made by Mr. President of uplifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years.
Because if you look at what we've been doing the last 4 years, you will see that this is a government that is committed to actually eradicating poverty.
If we put women in the center of all our programs, then we are truly addressing poverty.
With the theme, acting together to empower children, families and communities to end poverty. In walking the talk, the ministry took the campaign to Barua community, a suburb in the FCT. A demonstration of gratitude for their guest as the light of hope shines on them. This gesture did not end within the four walls of this community, as it was the turn of another vulnerable group in the society to be recognized. 3rd December every year is celebrated as the International Day for Persons Living with Disabilities, a day to clamor for their rights, and without hesitation, the ministry rolled out its carpet to honor them. On this day, a parliament for persons living with disabilities was inaugurated by the minister to create a bigger platform of recognition, a louder voice in their struggle.
Probably from 2020, we will need to start galvanizing the voice of people with disability across the region to understand what are the real issues.
A ray of hope for those whose light they never imagined will be ignited. For the ministry, providing adequate social protection and inclusion mechanisms is top priority. Partnership with state governments for the rehabilitation and reintegration of internally displaced persons across the country was very strategic.
These humanitarian challenges continue to evolve. You solve one and another one emerges tomorrow, and that's why a ministry like this must be policy oriented, must have sound people that will be looking at issues and thinking through solutions to them on a continuing basis.
Efforts have been made in the past to relocate some. We also have a training center in Nyanya that would be able to train many of the IDPs into meaningful skills.
We've had these IDPs for quite a number of years now, and you may recall that Mr. President specifically created a whole commission of the Northeast Development Commission, whose primary responsibility is to focus on really early recovery of these affected locations in the Northeast. It's just not sustainable for us to continue to feed these people in the IDP camps. No country will be able to do that. Mr. President has also graciously approved the construction of 10,000 housing units in Borno State. And very soon we're going to flag off that project. It is high time that we're able to, rebuild back the Northeast. We're able to reconstruct, rehabilitate, resettle and reintegrate these people back to their localities.
IDPs are not the only beneficiaries to be considered by the ministry in achieving the sustainable development goals of zero hunger through poverty alleviation on a larger scale. Sustaining the gains of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program with improved nutritional benefits for the children was also given much attention, following this partnership with the World Food Program.
The program is already great, and we might be able to add a little bit of technical support here and there to make it even stronger. So even when we're providing food, we're trying to make sure that we buy it locally in Nigeria to the extent possible, so it's stimulating the economy.
The ministry's momentum had taken a rhythm, so in building its capacity for rapid response and mitigation of humanitarian crisis. The minister visited communities who were affected by disasters, while taking measures to bring respite to the people and provide solutions to avert future occurrences.
The people of Anambra State are happy that the president, within 24 hours, was able to deploy people that came here to assess the extent of damage.
Issue of disaster management are things that have become part and parcel of the society. We live in it, we sleep in it, we wake up in it. And of course, one shouldn't overlook the various mechanisms employed in the past to make sure that they are addressed. But to come up with the thought or the thinking that, look, strategically for you to see a result and much impact, institutionalize all these endeavors so that they are cascaded into a single cluster is the best that can give you the results you desire.
Just at the brink of steadying its pedal for a smoother ride, a new challenge emerged. COVID-19, a virus that has drained not only the health of many, but has also left many food banks empty. Realizing a dire need for the people and help reduce the burden from the shoulders of the poor and vulnerable in the society, government swung into action with a presidential directive to the ministry.
I have directed with the conditional cash transfers for the next 2 months be paid immediately. Our internally displaced persons will also receive 2 months of food rations in the coming weeks.
A lockdown, but not a total shutdown on pockets, especially for beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer. The sum of 20,000 naira cash, 4 months payment being distributed, came in handy.
I didn't have anything before, but I thank God that I can be able to establish business.
In my life, I have never held 20,000 naira.
Beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program are drawn from the National Social Register, which at the onset of the pandemic has a data of more than 2.6 million poor and vulnerable households, with over 11 million individuals across 36 states and the FCT.
The social register is an information gateway of potential eligible beneficiaries into a social intervention program, wherein the community members will sit together. They will define amongst and in the context of the community what is poverty in that community and who is considered poor and vulnerable in that community. Once the community members themselves identify this, then the state team, through the local government staff that have been recruited, will then register these poor and vulnerable people into the social register.
Following the second phase of the lockdown, President Buhari ordered an increase in the numbers by 1 million, and the register grew to 3.1 million households, containing 13 million individuals across the 36 states and the FCT. As at 6th of May 2020, a total of 729,847 beneficiaries in the 24 states have received their payments.
For Nigeria, the cash transfer will only mine the poorest of the poor from the social register. So there is a computer-generated proxy mean test equation that is done that will then go back into the social register and categorize people in the social register from the poor to the poorest, and then enroll these beneficiaries into the cash transfer program. These are the people that are getting 5,000 naira every month from the federal government.
The programs are multifaceted and there are many, but all geared towards inclusivity and showing concern to fellow Nigerians.
Apart from cash, there were also other things to be benefited, as the president also gave a directive for the release of 70,000 metric tons of foodstuff to be distributed among the less privileged and vulnerable groups.
You know, when it comes to these issues of palliatives, there are different things involved. It's supposed to be a structure, really, from national, states, down to the local communities, where these palliatives are supposed to go through. But because of the apprehensions, and agitations, and, this is the first time we're experiencing this kind of thing. In every state that we go, we clearly state, we emphasize that these palliatives are meant for the poor and the vulnerable in that state.
The ministry adopted a multifaceted approach involving diverse vulnerable groups across the country. From the elderly, internally displaced persons, persons living with disabilities. With 25 orphanages in the FCT, we also earmarked to benefit from the intervention, also to be replicated across the country as part of its COVID-19 response outreach.
We want to appreciate the ministry. The orphanages have been in their need of palliatives, and therefore what has been done today will go a long way to supporting them.
In its outreach, the ministry ensured all stipulated guidelines in curtailing the spread of the deadly virus were duly adhered to, not leaving out a sustained sensitization campaign with the provision of protective items such as hand sanitizers, face masks, buckets, and soaps for hand washing.
The ministry has swung into action to ensure that our brothers and sisters and children who are living with disabilities will receive significant attention and care.
Hunger has been identified as a serious byproduct of the pandemic, and tough times require resilient measures. Although schools are shut down, the National Homegrown School Feeding Program is not totally shut down, as the program has taken a different dimension even in the wake of COVID-19. A flag-off was done by the ministry in Kuje Area Council and the FCT, with the distribution of vouchers to beneficiaries for the take-home ration, valued at 4,200 naira, which comprises of 5 kilogram bag of rice, 5 kilogram bag of beans, 500 millimeters of vegetable oil, 750 millimeters of palm oil, 50 milligram of salt, 15 pieces of eggs, and 140 gram of tomato paste.
They give God the honor for this government this time around to help us to give children food.
We started with FCT here, and these homes are being identified through the register where these children are registered, because in every register in the school you must have the address of a child that's enrolled in the school. We're also using the SUGEB, in the state. It's going to be all over the country, but we decided to start with the 4 affected lockdown states by the federal government.
13.154 billion naira was earmarked for the program, as the ministry continues to engage all partners to ensure that the intervention reaches the desired beneficiaries.
This is a social contract that Mr. President has signed with the citizens of this country, especially the poor and the vulnerable, who are the primary constituents of this government. So there is hope, and I want to assure Nigerians that under my watch, I'm going to do everything humanly possible to see that these vulnerable groups in this country are being adequately taken care of. Build their lives and be able to also contribute their own quota into the development of this country.
Like the word humanitarian, it is about the human first, his life, his struggle, his survival, high vitality. What was a huge vacuum in the past is now being filled with patriots, the people, for this unusual time.
From the
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
I am Elizabeth Abad. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information, just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojibo.
I am Elizabeth Abari. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information, just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Najaa Tutijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news. Don't be a victim. Stay.
This is Weekend File on the NTA, the first edition in the new year. We are live in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. The year 2020 has come and gone, but not without its ups and downs, not peculiar to Nigeria. As early as March, the novel COVID-19 pandemic, with its huge impact on global economics, affected Nigeria with far-reaching consequences for the government and citizens. With sense of focus and to tackle the pandemic head-on, the international community, including Nigeria, were compelled to divert resources for national development to save lives, with the understanding that without a healthy nation, the pursuit of economic prosperity will never be realized. Indeed, the pandemic completely changed the way of doing business and brought about a new normal as part of survival strategy. While the pandemic rages, Nigeria's major revenue earner, oil, suffered a setback as the international oil market collapsed, bringing the nation's economic activities to a standstill. We will not forget in a hurry too that the NSAS protest compounded the nation's challenges. However, President Muhammadu Buhari was steadfast in piloting the affairs of the nation despite all challenges to the economy. There was massive provision of funds for national response to COVID-19. NSAS protest was dismantled and the federal government took the bull by the horns by injecting a stimulus fund of over 3 trillion naira to boost the economy, provide national infrastructure, and support various humanitarian and social programs. These brought high cushioning effects to the citizenry and the private sector, setting the nation's economy back to recovery. There is evidence that the nation's economy is picking up very fast as Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, still remains #1 in Africa and the 26th largest economy in the world. Today, Nigeria leads the African common market to further open her economic potentials for the good of the country and the continent. Already, the federal government has upscaled the fight against insecurity, and job creation is ongoing across all segments, with the fight against corruption reinforced on a daily basis. Now, with a budget of 13.5 trillion naira for 2021, Nigeria is surely moving fast towards sustainable national prosperity in the new year and beyond. So tonight on Weekend File, if there is one thing Nigerians and the government need, it is for this year to be different, rekindling hopes and aspirations while overcoming the huge challenges of coronavirus pandemic, and we reflect upon the outgone year and prospects for economic prosperity in 2021. Our guest is the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume. I am Kene Ima Abodike. Let's serve you the news first. We'll start with security, where the Nigerian Air Force has launched a special operation codenamed Exercise Taimakoyazo to further secure the Abuja-Kaduna highway. Ahmad Umar Kudan reports that the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, launched the exercise in Rijana village along the highway.
With a clear-cut mandate to make Kaduna-Abuja highway safer, these special forces are to search and combat criminal elements as they rescue victims of crimes. Utilizing air and ground components, exercise taimako ya zo, meaning help has come, aims at detecting and eliminating bandits and kidnappers, including their camps along the highway. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, says the exercise will be sustained and extended to Zamfara and Kaduna states.
I'm sure it has impacted positively. It has also deterred criminals from coming out on this road to attack innocent citizens. And I said it's an exercise that is going to be a continuous one. We make sure that at short notice, without anybody even knowing, we'll be doing these exercises in between the 6 major ones that we're planning.
This inauguration brings another sigh of relief to motorists and regional community that has been in the news for the notorious activities of kidnappers and bandits.
When you give the information, they will go to reveal it to these bandits. Later on, they will come and meet you and kill you at home. But maybe this time around, if we can see this kind of magic today, we know they are ready to work and fight these kind of bandits inside our bush.
The exercise is being conducted under the Nigerian Air Force Special Operations Command. In Kaduna, Ahmed Umar Kudang, NTA News.
At the meantime, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations DMO says all air interdiction missions being conducted by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole have continued to deal with terrorist elements operating in the northeast zone of the country, with the elimination of Boko Haram terrorists and destruction of their structures and logistics store. DMO Coordinator Major General John Enenche indicates that the latest of these was achieved on January 1, 2021 at Manawaji in Borno State, where the terrorists set up a new settlement. The air strikes were executed employing Nigerian Air Force fighter platforms after a series of aerial surveillance missions revealed that a new settlement was being used to store weapons, logistics items, and staging area for attacks. The NAF attack aircraft subsequently destroyed some of the structures and logistics stores. Several insurgents were also neutralized in the process. To other matters now, following the federal government's drive towards ensuring all subscriber registrations are linked with national identification numbers, NINs, and all stakeholders in the industry to work together to achieve a seamless process, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami, has approved a SIM replacement policy for subscribers whose SIMs have been lost, stolen, misplaced, or damaged. A statement by the Director of Public Affairs, Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Ikechukwu Adinde, indicates that the replacement is subject to conditions including that the subscriber presents a national identity number, NIN, that an effective verification of the NIN is carried out by National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and that the relevant guidelines and regulations of NCC concerning SIM replacement are fully adhered to. This policy is part of the federal government's efforts to reduce the burden on subscribers and simplify the exercise, and it is aimed at enabling telecommunications services users who need to replace their damaged, stolen, or misplaced SIMs to re-establish access to telecom services, the statement added. It has been predicted that agriculture will be at the center stage of transaction at the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that came into existence this January 2021. Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at Nigeria food production business and the Continental Free Trade Area.
Even before the idea of the African Continental Free Trade Area was conceived, Nigeria has been the source of food, especially grains, for more than 10 African countries in West, East and Central Africa. The business, though 90% informal, are being transacted at an open grains market like this. The African Continental Free Trade Area is therefore expected to further strengthen Nigeria's agribusiness tied with other African nations.
If you can target another commodity, say 10 other commodities, say even if they are giving us $30 million, 10, that would be $300 million just for 10 commodities. And we have a lot. Sugarcane, we can export. Sesame, we can export. Honey, we can export.
Tijani Silagaro, a hides and skin merchant in Kano, says Nigeria will penetrate other international leather markets through the AFCTA.
We have established a lot of contact with shoe manufacturers in Nigeria and leather goods manufacturers generally in Lagos, in Aba, and in Kano here, that their products can be exported to South Africa, to Egypt, to a lot of countries.
People who have made investment in the oil sector will be able to repeat, and other people will come in to make investment and make gain. So it is the best step in resuscitating the oil palm sector in Nigeria.
For business like this and others that are taking place across the African continent, the World Bank estimated that the monies that exchange hands daily worth more than $300 billion. The African Development Bank also forecasts that such businesses will hit $1 trillion under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Agricultural economists are of the view that for Nigeria to have a huge chunk of the business, issues relating to quality, standard, and packaging must be addressed.
We are going to organize all our research institutions to make meaningful research, to develop products and allow them to sell.
Value addition to Nigeria's agricultural produce, such as cocoa, coconut, shea nut, ginger, industrialists believe will boost the country's revenue and attract more market. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
This is Weekend File. When we return, our conversation will focus on assessing the outgone year 2020 and prospects for 2021. Do stay.
Are you ready for this?
Let me hear you, AJ.
Ready for this?
Give me some bass.
That good for you?
Nice, AJ. Bring it out. Double it.
I was born hungry for success. It's the Nigerian way. Glow gets it. Champions stay hungry. Oh yeah. Glow gets it big time. One more for sure. Champions go the distance and then go further. Glow, the heart of a champion.
Season's greetings from the Federal Road Safety Commission.
The Federal Road Safety Corps appreciates all road users and all other stakeholders for your cooperation.
This is a season of peace, joy, and love. Road crashes are trending down in Nigeria, and together we shall keep it down.
I urge you to travel safe and avoid drinking while you drive. These are presidential orders. All public buses, taxis, and tricycles must travel at 50% capacity, and drivers are to ensure passengers wear face masks.
Be alert, avoid dangerous driving and behavior.
Wishing you a safe and prosperous year ahead.
The Corps wishes you happy celebration and safe travels.
In case of road crash, call toll-free lines 122 or 0700-225-53772.
Announcer BC Kazim, Assistant Corps Marshal, Corps Public Education Officer, FRSC.
As the countdown to the new year begins, we here at NTA cannot help but look back on a challenging year that has been filled with many lessons. The most important of all being a renewed gratitude for the continued support of our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, businesses and manufacturers, and you, the viewers. As we cross the finish line together, this celebration of new beginnings would simply be incomplete without you there, and we look forward to sharing the coming year with you. Here's to an excellent year ahead.
Do you know that 35% of every girl child and women are raped on daily basis? Some are killed in the process, some take their lives in shame, others remain emotionally dead for life. It is sad. This culture is not ours, definitely not African. How did we allow bad culture to infiltrate and take over? Even if you lack fear for the law, what of fear of God? And you, why do you cover up rape acts when it happens? Remember, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Never cover any rape act because a rapist is a murderer. It could be you or your loved ones next. Women must be treated like the prize giant they are. Say no to rape.
Dialogue, empathy, love and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
Welcome back. Nigeria's economic outlook for the year 2020 drew a lot of attention as conscious efforts to steer the wheel out of recession continued with several intervention plans and policies in place to drive the process. Dotun Ogunyemi in this report examines key performance index driving growth for economic emancipation.
Prior to 2020, the Nigerian economy continued to experience a positive growth trajectory, having had a significant recovery from 2016-2017 recession, which was triggered by the drop in commodity prices in 2016. This, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, was followed by 12 consecutive quarters of expansion, with a GDP growth rate of 2.5% in the fourth quarter of 2019. But all that changed due to the outbreak of COVID-19, plunging global oil prices and economies.
Like other economies, the Nigerian economy was not immune from the COVID-19 shock in 2020. Nigeria's GDP contracted by minus 3.4% during the third quarter of 2020, a welcome improvement from minus 6.1% recorded during the second quarter.
With a total of 18 sectors of the Nigerian economy experiencing positive growth in the third quarter of 2020, the CBN is pushing its interventions and policies to ensure that Nigeria exits the recession by first quarter of 2021.
What the government needs for every one of us is to support them in the best way we can.
There is conscious effort toward diversifying the base of our economy away from just oil.
As the nation enters the second wave of the virus, the federal government believes several policies put in place will help the economic projections as economic experts prospect a positive outlook for the year 2021. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
In spite of the negative impact of COVID-19 and the global economic recession, Kaduna State got a fair share of the provision of critical infrastructure by the federal government in the outgone year 2020. Suleiman Abdullahi tells us more.
Covering more than 300 kilometers, the Kaduna-Zaria-Kano dual carriageway, awarded 3 years ago, and the Kaduna Eastern Bypass are major projects among the series of critical infrastructure being provided by the federal government.
For the Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano road, we have put the funding into a special vehicle, a presidential infrastructure development fund.
These are in addition to the Kaduna-Abuja standard gauge rail line brought into full operation by the Buhari administration. In the meantime, Kaduna State government is complementing with provision of massive and visionary projects under its urban renewal initiative. Erstwhile dilapidated road networks have now been reconstructed and dualized, opening up the state and placing it on sound pedestal of development.
Actually, from the look of things, yeah, there are some areas that work are still going on, work have been finished. He has done so much, he has done very well.
I traveled from here to Kaduna. But have been fixed during this period, so I'm sure as time goes on, when the roads are done, it will open up most areas.
Ajaokuta Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline is another milestone by the Buhari administration. The gas pipeline, when completed, is expected to augment other investments made to revamp heirloom factories, including the Moribund textiles industries in Kaduna and Kano states. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
The effect of COVID-19 pandemic on crude oil demand resulting in sharp decline in crude oil prices is an indication that Nigeria's dependence on crude oil is not healthy for the nation's economy. Stakeholders advise government to intensify efforts in diversifying the economy in 2021 as they react on the performance of the oil and gas sector in 2020 and prospects in 2021. Robinson Derataide reports.
The oil and gas industry in Nigeria started on a rocky note in 2020, having been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The country's upstream oil and gas sector, which provides a significant portion of government revenue and foreign earnings, felt the ripple effect of the pandemic in terms of the decline in crude oil prices, resulting in the adjustment of the budget's crude oil price benchmark from $57 per barrel to $30 in April and later $20 in May.
In terms of production, we have so much, but the demand side was a little bit contracted, owing to the fact that the COVID-19 came in at a time we were expecting so much from that industry.
We can generate our electricity from solar energy, we can generate electricity from wind energy, so that when there is peak oil, when the oil business is not booming anymore, we can resort to the renewable energy.
The relative calm in the upstream production, owing to the hope in the passage of the petroleum industry bill, the spring up of modular refineries, and the cleanup of oil-polluted communities in the Niger Delta region. Experts contend that the projected 3.3% GDP is achievable in 2021 if government diversifies the oil downstream sector, revisit abandoned projects like the Brass NLNG in Bayelsa State, and invest in agriculture in Port Harcourt. Robinson Derataide, NTA News.
Our guest, Senator George Akume, Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, joins us live from our Makudi Network Center. Good evening, Honorable Minister, and Happy New Year to you.
To you.
Let's start with the COVID-19 pandemic, which indeed has forced a new normal on all and sundry. Here in Nigeria, the federal government and indeed all stakeholders have managed the scourge or pandemic very, very well vis-a-vis its economic impact. Now, what is your evaluation on that?
Well, thank you very much. When the virus made a dramatic landfall throughout the world with devastating consequences, the whole world was taken completely unawares. Nigeria was no exception. But thanks to Mr. President, a team was quickly put in place. The PTF, headed by Norm,
other than the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the PTF was charged with the responsibility of checking the spread of this menace, this pandemic. It was also intended that under his leadership, coordination would be better. And quickly they moved into action. Coming out with protocols to be observed by Nigerians, social distancing, sanitization observed, wearing of masks. And this is what we started doing. At the same time, there was massive mobilization of Nigerians to recognize and appreciate the magnitude of this problem. Those with resources, corporate and individuals, decided to support the government. Government raised its own funds as well to enable the new committee carry out its major national assignment, very sensitive with tragic implications. We know as a fact that if not for this, the situation would have been worse. It is a credit to the PTF. The Nigerians have received daily briefings and they are aware of the consequences of this terrible pandemic. Not only that, government also extended assistance to the states to establish centers for evaluation of this terrible disease. The federal government itself has set up many centers where people can go, check themselves, and that is what is going on. I want to believe that at the end of the day, we are going to have many centers across this country for the benefit of people who go to test and know their status. And those who have been infected are being treated, and that is why the number of deaths in this country is low. It speaks volume of the commitment of Mr. President in addressing this very serious pandemic. You also mentioned the issue of economic, but it has terrible implications for the economy. And Nigeria is no exception. It's everywhere. As it has been stated before from a man from Lagos, yes, the economy was growing at 2.5%, and suddenly the virus visited us, and its true spanner in the works are broadly stopping this growth, turning us over again into a recession. Yes, we went into recession in 2016, shortly after we took over, the government took over in 2015. And of course, the economic recovery and growth plan was assembled by Mr. President, and it was scrupulously implemented. And that is why we were able to pull out of the recession. I'm happy that steps being taken by government through economic sustainability plan are also intended to ensure that the Nigerian economy does not suffer forever. By the first quarter of next year, it is expected that when we pull out of recession, we'll spend ourselves through recession. I am also encouraged by what I had 3 months ago from the IMF. They said Sub-Saharan Africa will pull out of recession in the first quarter of 2021. So we have every cause to believe in what the federal government is doing in the management of this economy at this material point in time. The economic sustainability plan is known to all of you. It's so rich. It's a very rich package, and many Nigerians, young and old, women and so on, are already going into this. The focus in certain areas like agriculture, where it is expected that will provide 20 to 100,000 hectares of farmland in each state of the Federation for the cultivation of various produce. Extensive public works and road construction program are being focused, of course, mass housing program, which is also expected to be driven by our young professionals. 300 housing homes will be created every year, which is a huge enterprise, and it's going to absorb so many of our young men and women in that sector. We're looking at installation of these solar home systems, and this is expected to cover over 5 million homes. People who are not connected to the national grid are expected to have access to power. A situation that has never happened in this country before. We're strengthening the social safety network, trader money, market money, direct conditional cash transfer, and so on and so forth. And of course, strengthening of healthcare system and support for micro, small, and medium enterprises. I said it's a huge thing. We want to manufacture at least basic medical facilities, but which will meet international standards, drawing from the provisions in this wonderful program, the sustainability plan. We're looking at reduction in NAFDAC registration fees, and of course, Survivor Fund, which is for the benefit of small scale business people. You know, most of our businessmen are in the informal sector. 50 to 70% of them are in the informal sector. The idea here is that you support those who own these little businesses so that they can maintain people who are on their payroll. No sacking of people. They have to remain there and earn their own daily living. We're talking about promotion of utilization of domestic, which is also cheaper. We're talking of digital economy, and all that. This is to foster this culture of innovation and create a wide variety of technology and ICT jobs. Minister of Communication is doing, and digital economy is doing quite a lot in that area. This package, this stimulus plan, embraces over 2.3 trillion. And so, quite frankly, these are the issues that are dealing directly with citizens, whether we're managing the virus itself or we're managing the economy, because the two of them have tried to go to bed together. And so you can't manage one and leave the other one out. And that is what federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari is doing.
Honorable Minister, what is your take on the recently signed 2021 budget?
Recovery and resilience is the name that has been tagged by government, and this is also intended to be a reflection of where we started and where we are going. It seeks to exploit further into what we have started doing, we are doing, and what we intend to do within the context of consolidation of what government has been able to achieve so far in the face of dwindling resources. This is a budget that will cost Nigerian taxpayers over 13 trillion naira. This is a huge package. Well, there is a deficit, and most of the budgets today have deficit. Having a deficit is not an issue. What is important is what you want to borrow and do with that money. So we're not borrowing to pay salaries, we're borrowing to make up the shortfall for the purpose of implementing capital projects in critical areas like railway transportation, road network, power, aviation sector, ICT, and so on and so forth. Yeah, agriculture. So and of course, there's going to be massive investment in industry as well. We want to scale up production. So it is not a bad thing at all. If you look at the fact that by the time we took over, the installed capacity of power generation was very low. Today we have over 2.5 thousand megawatts, and it's huge. And if you remember in the past, over billions, how many billions were invested, over 15-16 billion dollars were invested in the power sector, and we got nothing. But today, because of total commitment and a sense of deep involvement and patriotism side of the president, a lot is happening in the power sector. It is there for everybody to see. And so if you permit me to go a little bit into this budget, it is not something that happened overnight. It's carefully planned, passed the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper to the National Assembly, which was cleared. And so today we're very happy that when you look at the figures of this budget, they are very encouraging. Crude oil benchmark is 40, which is okay, because if again you look at what one energy group said about the price of oil and the demand and the price of oil in 2021, then you know we're on the right track. The demand is going to increase, and therefore the price is also going to increase. Remember, you were told before, this is one thing I believe all of us are familiar with, from 56 or 100 before we came in, 56, then of course came down to 30 something, then to 20. Today it has started climbing up again, and with the fact that the vaccine has been found against this deadly pandemic, this deadly virus, these predictions are certainly realistic. They're based on objective reality, and I believe that we are on the right path. So security is going to consume about 38%. Now, the primary purpose of government is to maintain the security of its people and properties. And so security is going to get a big one there. Capital expenditure is going to take about 30% of the total budget in real terms, and this is going to work. Education, ASU has agreed to go back. You can see a huge chunk here, 542 billion. Health, we're talking about health is work, is work. And the fact again here is, the COVID has not left us yet. 380 billion, and so on and so forth. So we're looking at crude oil output of 1.8 million barrels per day. But this is going to also increase. We want to believe this is also going to increase. So we're expecting a total revenue of 7.8 trillion, expenditure profile 13.5 billion. Then we'll have this deficit of 5 trillion, which shouldn't be a cause for anxiety. We're going to borrow locally and outside, but the terms are not bad. And we're not going to borrow, as I said, to pay salaries. We're going to borrow to put into the capital projects, which will make life more meaningful for people, promote industry, promote business, and all for the benefits of people.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. We're not done with you yet. We will quickly go on a break on Weekend File, and we will be back shortly.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification, but good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
My name is Nando Jamda Muhammad. Stevita Hussein Musa. Roduna Joel Tingi. Said Musa John. I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now. And I said that plantain. Nakai Chimami Shekara Uku. I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now. And I do it for a better Nigeria. And I do it for a better Nigeria. Now when the Sana and the Muni Domin Nigeria to take about. And I said Domin Nigeria to come. And you can see how we're doing our small little work to make Nigeria great. As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation. Business.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. Commercial activities in Kano have continued to remain the nucleus of Nigerian economy in view of its contributions and connection to other economic sectors. Lawal Salawu Unwa takes a look at some of the major markets and their roles to economic development of the state and beyond.
It is no more a news that Kano State is a commercial center of northern part of the country in view of the history which indicates the mark of trans-Saharan trade hundreds of years ago. The existence of popular markets in Kano like Singa for assorted food items, Dawano for grains and Kwegi for textiles justifies the position of the most populous state as the commercial hub not only in Nigeria but also in West Africa. For instance, there were no markets which came to be in more than 36 years, realizes hundreds of tons of grains and other cash crop yearly are turned over. Most of our customers are from India. The story is not different at Kantunkwari market, which traders from Kano and beyond described as the most popular textile market in Nigeria.
Statistically, we have at least over 2,500,000 people performing their business activities in this market.
We have customers from Ghana, Niger, and other African countries.
It's only few materials that we come and buy, like zip, like threads, like gumstay.
Coming from Taraba State, headquarters, lace, and atampa, also wrapper.
These are some of the reasons that made commercial activities to remain the nerve center of the economy in view of its connection with other sectors.
Commercial sector complements the agricultural sector in the sense that whatever is produced from the agricultural sector is being brought to the commercial sector for sale to the industries and what have you.
With the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, which affects all sectors of the economy, and efforts by the relevant stakeholders to mitigate its effect, there is hope for economic progress in the year 2021. Experts, however, believe that more needs to be done to support the economy for Nigeria to realize the target of competing with the global world economically. That was Hello Inua, NTA News.
Improved security situation in Borno State has paved way for voluntary relocation of some internally displaced persons to their ancestral homes mid-2020 by Borno State government owing to the gallantry of the Nigerian military in rendering the community safe for habitation hitherto under the control of Boko Haram terrorists. Maimuna Garba reports.
The situation in Borno State and by extension the Northeast region has continued to be strengthened, especially with the introduction of subsidiary counter-operations by the military like Operation Fireball, Kantana Jimlan and Ayuso Tomonuma, in addition to sustained aggressive clearance operations and patrols among others, where tremendous successes were recorded across the theater.
The security situation has actually witnessed great improvement compared to where we were before. We have been able to, carry out a lot of operations within the area, which led to neutralization of countless Boko Haram terrorists. We have also recovered a lot of weapons.
Borno state government, in its quest to restore lasting peace to the state, also introduced the Rapid Response Squad to fundamentally complement effort of the military in securing highways, logistic support to the military, and improved welfare of vigilantes, among other efforts.
The general security situation in the state for now is calm. We are going to have a serious collaboration and synergy with all the relevant stakeholders to ensure that remnants of Boko Haram and other criminals are wiped out completely.
The Agro Rangers initiative by Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in 2020, assisted by Borno State government with the involvement of civilian JTF, vigilante and hunter, has supported more farmers to access their farmlands, thereby strengthening security in flashpoint areas.
In 2021, we want to introduce technology into our operation.
Right from inception to date, we have never changed course, and this is what we intend and will continue to do.
With the sustained efforts of stakeholders and concurrent renewed security tactics in fighting insurgency war, the marauding terrorists will soon be cleared and lasting peace restored to the northeast region. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Let's return to our Makudi Network Center, where Senator George Akume, Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, is seated. Distinguished Senator, one more question before we are done with you. Quickly tell us the goals or the peculiar goals your ministry intends to pursue in 2021.
Well, one of the principal mandates of my ministry is to work in synergy with the private sector for the purpose of creating jobs for Nigerian youth. And another one is to work and evaluate interministerial functions as directed by Mr. President, particularly with respect to special projects. And above all, all of us have been directed to ensure that we beef up the revenue profile of our respective ministries in the face of dwindling resources. One of our major goals in 2021, a very special one for that matter, is to ensure the creation of one industry per local government based on economic corridors. This will not just be a palliative, it is more than a palliative. It offers employment to many people and it creates entrepreneurs at the local level. To give you an example, if your local government specializes in the production of soya or of Benny seeds, then of course we decide an industry that can process this Benny seed to a certain level, like the hulling, to ensure that you can now export and earn foreign exchange. That's the type of thing we said we're going to do according to economic corridors. And every local government has something that it specializes in. If there is a combination of local government, fine. They may decide to have an integrated plant that is even bigger than what one local government can do. But this doesn't mean that it's government that is going to manage. Individuals will do it, carefully identified with a correct profile to take over, to do this, to put it in place. They'll be properly guided. At the end of the day, it's not free money they're going to pay government this money. Number two, we intend to collect a lot more revenues from those who are in the government, particularly the operators of the lottery and the games in this country. Three, we intend to reactivate the Ghana Games, which is very popular with Nigerians. Three, and these are all revenue earning sources. We want to launch the national game here in the country, and again, lottery trust fund. We do quite a lot more. They did quite a lot in the area of providing vital equipment to various hospitals and other health institutions in the country in the fight against the Corona-19 pandemic. And so these are some of the things that we're planning. There's so many decided to be a little bit more particularistic in line with what you have asked me.
Akume, thank you for your time tonight on Weekend File, and we wish you good luck in 2021.
Thank you.
Time for our final break. Don't go away.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
We now join Olumide Eguntala with Sports Update.
Year 2020 no doubt remained unforgettable in the annals of Nigerian sports and the world over as a result of the outbreak of coronavirus that shut the entire universe down. This did not deter the developmental stride of the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, who ensured the commencement of restoration process of the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos, among other national monuments.
Monuments such as this, we'll find out options in which we can restore them back to glory.
The Ministry of Sports, in actualizing its mandate on adoption of facilities, began the demolition of illegal structures at the stadium to pave way for private investors.
Declare the eviction and demolition exercises with immediate effect.
And in the minister's quest to holistically develop the sector, he gave his blessings to the relaunch of the Principal's Cup at an event in Lagos. Meanwhile, the 2020 national elections of the Nigerian Football Supporters Club that returned Samuel Ikpe as the national chairman for a second term in office gave hope of maximum support for the various national teams in the new year 2021.
Ensure that in all our next matches, all our next games, that we come out successful.
And these 4 years is going to witness greater achievements.
In another development, NTA will continue its live telecast of the Nigerian Professional Football League with a week 2 fixture between Kano Pillars and Kaduna United that will be beamed live on NTA Network Service on Sunday. With sports updates, Olumide Eguntala, NTA News.
The death has been reported of Alhaji Muhammadu Adamo Hadijia, aged 71. An educationist in Jigawa State, Alhaji Muhammadu died after an illness, leaving behind his wives and children. Among his children is the former Minister of State Foreign Affairs that supervised Ministry of Information, Dr. Nuruddin Mohammed. Renowned medical doctor Godwin Ndaman Ajabo, who died recently, has been laid to rest in his hometown in Lokoja, Kogi State. Correspondent Ajibola Christopher reports that the funeral service and final prayers for the medical icon was at the Cathedral Church of the Holy Trinity, Lokoja.
The funeral service for late Galadima of Lokoja, Dr. Godwin Timothy Ndaman Ajapo, OON, was held at the Cathedral Church of the Holy Trinity, Lokoja. Dignitaries from within and outside the state, top government functionaries, politicians, councils of traditional institutions, Kogi State, bishops from various dioceses of the Anglican Communion, families of the deceased, as well as sympathizers.
It is your comfort. It is your strength. You are very present in times of challenges.
I've missed him in Lokoja here, both the traditional council and Lokoja community. He was a great person.
In many ways, he has touched the lives of people within and without the family. He has been a blessing.
The remains of Galadima of Lokoja, Dr. Godwin Ajapo, was laid to rest at his compound in Lokoja.
Very caring. He could spend the last kobo he has to make sure that I'm healthy.
He was such a fantastic person. Wonderful heart.
In Lokoja, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
We'd like to thank you for being part of Weekend File today on the NTA, the very first edition in 2021. My name is Kenan Ima Aborike. Let's do it again next weekend. Bye-bye.
Sister, Papa, Mama, and Pikin. Corona, no big pass us. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other. We go win, oh. Corona, na the virus, we dey worry human being. You no get let go, but it dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat am, we fit stop am, if we maintain good hygiene and practice social distancing. We go win, oh.
An epidemic affecting individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, gender, race, religion, or nationality. It is called domestic violence. It can take a number of forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, economic, religious, or sexual abuse. The ultimate aim of domestic violence is to gain and maintain total control over its victim. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It happens among people of all ages, ethnic background, and economic levels. While women are more commonly victimized, men are also abused, especially verbally and emotionally, although sometimes even physically as well. Unfortunately, domestic violence is among the most underreported crimes worldwide for both men and women. An abuser doesn't play fair. He or she uses fear, guilt, shame, and intimidation to wear down his or her victims and keep them perpetually under his or her control. Abusers may often seem wonderful and perfect initially, but gradually become more aggressive and controlling as the relationship continues. Here are some signs of abusive tendencies: showing jealousy of the victim's family and friends, accusing victim of cheating, controlling who the victim sees, where they go, or what they do, preventing the victim from making his or her own decision, intimidating the victim with guns, knives, or other weapons. Noticing and acknowledging the signs of an abusive relationship is the first step to ending it. Therefore, abusive behavior is never acceptable, whether it is coming from a man or a woman, a teenager or an older adult. We all deserve to be valued, respected, and safe.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts the activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency. Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation. The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Here say them they rape about 35% of them girl pikin and even them women safe. So
Some of them, they even die in the process. Emotional trauma, uncle, they make some of them be like, say, they no did this one again, they don't go, but they live like ghosts. Some of them, shame don't kuku make them go kill themselves. It no good though. This no be our culture. It no fit be the African way. Why we can't allow this kind of yet enjoy body with us so they loud well. If you know they fear law where man put, you know they fear Baba God there. You self, you where they cover mouth so you see mini one they happen. You know why here when the Oyibo talk say problem where they bring come out, they solve and sharply. Remember, person wey feel rape, if it's a key person, oh, if it be you, if it be your pikin, if it be person them where you love well. So make we learn they carry women then, like diamond where we be. No grief for rape, oh.
The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency was established to ensure timely and effective maintenance of the nation's federal road network. In this informative and educational weekly update, we show you the great strides the agency is making in carrying out its mandate of monitoring and maintaining federal roads. Welcome to Eye on the Road, brought to you by FEMA.
Indeed, the pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19, is real. The board, management and staff of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, encourages all Nigerians to stay safe.
Always ensure that you use a face mask. We always use our face mask in the office and when in contact with people. Wash your hands frequently. Maintain safe distance from others, a minimum of 2 meters or 6 feet. Avoid touching your eyes, nose or mouth, and stay at home when you feel sick. Seek medical help when you are feeling sick. Avoid crowded places. Cough and sneeze into your elbow. Sanitize your hands with 75% or more alcohol-based sanitizers. We enjoin the members of the public and our partners and contractors and so on to understand with us the need to take these precautions and try to stop the spread.
Despite the challenges posed by a global health crisis in 2020, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency succeeded in making its impact felt in various communities across the nation. In this edition of the program, we bring you highlights of the achievements in the last year. For ease of operations, FEMA has 12 operational zones. The Northwest 1 zone is made up of Kaduna, Kano and Katsina, and the agency did considerable work there. General maintenance was done along the Kaduna Western Bypass dual carriageway. The road is a section of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano dual carriageway and carries more volume of traffic than any section on the route due to its proximity to the city of Kaduna. It is a major link between the northwestern part of the country with the FCT. Sections of the road degenerated due to the age of the road and overloading of trucks which frequently ply the road. Similar work was done along the Zaria-Katsina State border road, Zaria-Funtua. Many federal institutions like Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Federal School of Aviation Technology, and ABU Teaching Hospital Shika are located along the road. Other roads worked on in the Northwest 1 zone include the construction of Karaye Turawa Road in Kano State, relocated to Wudil Gaya Road in Kano State. Wudil Gaya Road starts at a T-junction on Kano Wudil Kwanar Huguma Jigawa southbound road. The section from Wudil to Gaya links to the newly dualized Kano Maiduguri Road, which provides access to Jigawa, Yobe and Borno states. The newly reinstated section was very low in level with blocked drains. It was like a pond during the rainy season. While addressing the problem, the road level was raised. Other distressed sections along the road were milled and overlaid. The Katsina-Kano Road is a 172 kilometers road linking Katsina and Kano. The agency carried out special repairs of carriageway at some sections along Katsina-Kano Road, Charanchi Village. Road failure along the Funtua-Bakuri project under Funtua-Dandume Federal Constituency resulted in multiple potholes, alligator cracks, rotting, and depression. Repairs along the road included pothole patching and application of asphaltic concrete overlay. The project was able to cover 490 meter length of overlay and 1,500 square meters of pothole patching. Several courtesy calls were paid to management and staff of the agency, including 3 governors, mainly to commend FEMA for the intervention done in their states.
I must congratulate you and our father of the nation for your appointment, because leadership selection or recruitment in that manner is what's lacking, and now with people like you brought putting square pegs and square holes is the reason why we are having this kind of growth. Well, Bauchi has benefited so much from the federal government, where central state within the northeast sub-region, and we are bothered about 8 states of the federation, and so mostly we live on the crisscross of federal roads traversing our state, and so we are in a position to benefit maximally from what we are doing. So far, we will not be ungrateful. We must express our gratitude to Mr. President, the Federal Minister of Works and Kano, for what they are doing, maybe not for us alone, but for other road users that are traversing through our states to go to their own lives or where they live.
We are here to thank FEMA for the wonderful job they have continued to do in Nasarawa. Usually when good things are done, you're supposed to come and say thank you from where we come from. And we have seen the amount of work that is going on our roads. All the way from Kefi to Nasarawa to Abuja. We've seen the work also going on from Kefi through Gitata, going through Kafanchan, Kachia, and the rest of that. We have seen the work also going on from Akwanga, going through Guantu towards Jos. We have also just brought the idea, to request for the inclusion of Akwanga, Wamba, Sisimbaki, Chesu, all the way again to Jos. We are also looking forward we want to thank you for another wonderful job again that you are doing, that one going right throughout the heart of the government house in there. When you took the Shandam Road from Lafia, all the way going through Shandam Road there. So we've seen all the good work you have done. And I want to also thank the management as well as our own local management of FEMA, in Nasarawa State.
The governor of Niger State, Abubakar Bello, appealed to FEMA for consideration of road repairs in the state.
We have over 2,000 kilometers of federal roads in Niger State alone. And I want to believe, apart from Bida to Mokwa, I don't think there's any federal road where you can drive 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers a stretch without having problems. If that is the case, I'm sure we'll understand the difficulties when it comes to movements of goods and services within the state. During the last rainy season, we had a very tough time moving in Niger State, as most of the roads were bad and heavy downpour and mud. It caused a lot of accidents. Most of the trailers were overloaded and they capsized easily. And when they capsize, they block the road, and when they block the road, it takes 4, 5, 6 hours to get them off. So we have decided that we shouldn't be caught unaware again. If we do, then it's our fault. We have decided that we have time to plan during the dry months, do whatever it takes so that Nigerians and Nigerians will not experience the difficulty they experienced during the last rainy season.
Under the proposed COVID-19 intervention by the federal government, there are 6 interventions, five of them significant. We shall be working on Mokwa Kainji Road. We shall be working on Kontagora Tegina Road. We shall be working on Bida Zungeru Road. We shall be working on Zungeru Mina section of the federal road along Zungeru Mina Lambata, and then special repairs on Zungeru Tegina Road in Niger State also. There will be some work around Kontagora Chief Route Rijau and the Niger State border. Kebbi State border. I don't believe that this solves all the problems, and the approach when we go to this intervention is to do an updated condition survey, identify the most critical areas, the most critical locations, and repair them so that we can ease the traffic. The kind of resources we have cannot do anything near rehabilitation, let alone the construction of the entire road, and we will continue to support whatever move is done to see that all these roads in Niger State are eventually totally reconstructed.
Monitoring and maintenance of federal roads is the business of FEMA. The agency will continue to make roads across the country motorable to all road users within the limit of funds that is available to the agency.
I send my greeting to the farmers for the good construction they were doing to us here. May God Almighty reward them.
State. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency carried out special repairs of critically failed sections at Elekara along Ibadan-Oyo carriageway, Ibadan bound. Generally in a fair condition, the road developed sectional failures, isolated potholes, asphalt slippages, and alligator cracks resulting from fatigue and high axle loading. These failures had reduced the level of riding comfort on the road.
First of all, I want to thank the federal government for its efforts in order to make the life of the citizen of Afijo be a better one, because this road has been a deplorable one for a very long period of time. But this time, everybody can see that the situation has improved, and we pray and we still beg FEMA that they should please do more, because we still have some along Akinyele Ojo side that you can see do for us. We pray that the Lord will continue to help and strengthen the federal government of Nigeria.
Tekini ó wà okay because many things ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àárín yìí, because bí mọ́tò mi bá já sínú kòtò báyìí wọ́n tọ́ǹbù ni tó jẹ́ pé yóò fẹ́ dá àwọn èèyàn nínú bọ̀ wọ́n ṣe ṣe yìí inú gbogbo wa dùn sí kí wọ́n bá wá ṣe gbogbo ọ̀nà tó bá ti bàjẹ́ báyẹn ó tún kú báyìí ní other side lódì kejì náà kí wọ́n bá wá try láti ṣe iná fọ́ àwọn táyà lóríṣi accident lóríṣiríṣi ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ńbẹ̀ kẹ́ bá wá tún gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ó dá báyìí ó dẹ inú wa dùn bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ó wà òkè.
Oyo-Awe-Iwo Road is a major road for the transportation of agricultural produce within Oyo State and to neighboring states in Nigeria. The road is generally in good condition, though there were occurrences of washout and failed pipe culverts at different spots along the carriageway during the rainy season. The agency swung into action to address these issues.
This is my route. We always pass here every day, every month. So but the road has been damaged for long, of which even we are afraid of passing here. But about 2 or 3 weeks now, or maybe a month's time, they came here and they are justice, but it's not good. It was just one rain, just finish everything down. You finish it, but it was my happiness that we see that they came here, but last immediately they stopped. They repaired this bridge. Bí ó ṣe wà yìí bí tá a wà yìí àsìkò kan ti wà tó jẹ́ pé ó kílìmù ẹ̀mí èèyàn bó ṣe rí tó jẹ́ pé mọ́tò ń lọ náà ni tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n dẹ̀ kọlu ra wọn níbi tá a wà tó dẹ̀ já síbi tá a wà yìí so èyí tó ń ṣe lọ nígbà kan náà rí tó jẹ́ pé ibẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n ṣẹ̀ wá gbé àwọn mọ́tò yẹn ní bóyá bíi mi ì lè sọ àsìkò tí nǹkan yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ so pẹ̀lú bó ṣe ṣe yìí ó mú àlàáfíà wá yóò tún mú
ẹ̀mí gígùn, kò ní jẹ́ kí ìjàmbá ọkọ̀ lópòpónà, kò ní jẹ́ kó tún máa ṣẹlẹ̀, yóò tún jẹ́ kí ẹ̀mí àwọn èèyàn kó tún máa balẹ̀. Tọ́n bá fẹ́ rìn lálẹ́ ni, wọ́n fẹ́ rìn lọ́sàn-án ni, àbí ní gbogbo ìgbàkúgbà tọ́n bá fẹ́ rìn. So àfẹ́lẹ́ àfàsìkò yá fi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe pé Ọlọ́run ò ní pín wọ́n nípa.
Sẹ́ẹ̀rí wọ́n ní kẹ́ni ìsinmi tí wọ́n sì ní ó dùn máa rú lọ́jọ́ á kú ni pé ìkú ni ọba ṣe kó lè já garaga kálíbọ̀dá wà ní ìjọba jẹ jù báyìí lọ.
The agency also replaced the collapsed old narrow culvert on Ado Igede, Aromako, Itaore, Osun State border road. The 4x4 single-cell box culvert has been completed. The Kodekpene Uyo Orong Ewang Jamestown Road in Akwa Ibom State leads to Orong, the major producer of fish and crayfish in the country. Due to the state of the roads, marketers were finding it difficult to carry out their business activities. In order to ensure unhindered economic activities in the area, FEMA carried out maintenance works along the route.
Jesus Christ. The work they are doing in my community is very, very good. To give them strength to do it very well. If you're not doing the way that it will not take us like even 3-4 months, and we spoil. Need them to be very, very serious and take time and do it. It's not to be rushed.
But the work is nice. Really appreciate that job. The work is nice. The airports, that means before there used to be accident there. Now everything is a bit better.
FEMA also successfully reinstated about 2 kilometer stretch of a dilapidated section of the Opolo Elebele Emea Road in Obia local government area of Bayelsa State through direct labor and contract interventions. The agency carried out special maintenance and pavement strengthening of various sections of the carriageway along Yenegua Oloibiri Road. Maintenance was also done along Toru Ebeni Okumbiri Road, off Yenegua Mbiama Road, off Amasoma Road.
Indeed, the pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19, is real. The board, management and staff of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, encourages all Nigerians to stay safe.
Always ensure that you use a face mask. We always use our face mask in the office and when you contact with people. Wash your hands frequently. Maintain safe distance from others, a minimum of 2 meters or 6 feet. Avoid touching your eyes, nose or mouth, and stay at home when you feel sick. Seek medical help when you are feeling sick. Avoid crowded places. Cough and sneeze into your elbow. Sanitize your hands with 75% or more alcohol-based sanitizers. We enjoin the members of the public and our partners and contractors and so on to understand with us the need to take these precautions and try to stop the spread.